There were some good years, like when we adopted and raised Bach. Oh my fucking god.
We're back. Part 2 of our Lawrence Corber episode. And it gets real giggly. Oh, it gets giggly. Come on in. Stick around.
Holy shit. Oh my god, David. David, holy shit, man.
So I had the same prompt. Our shared memories have become incoherent. The way that I tackled that was I had one little, I really only did it in one spot, I think, where one of the twins in this is reflecting on a moment from his childhood with his parents and realizing that it wasn't as it seems. And
okay.
the title for this is called My Parents, the Reptile People.
Okay.
And it's about two twins, Alex and Sarah. Sarah's really into karate. Alex, a little bit of a worrywart. And, they get into some stuff. Their parents are, how can I say this? Like intergalactic reptile people, kind of like the ones that people think.
Choose is the word you're looking for.
Yeah. I think the politically correct term, Lawrence, is reptoid.
Reptoids, yeah.
Yes.
So they're pretty much chameleons, and as we'll see, they fled their previous planet a long time ago and have been adopting children amongst Earth over the eons. And so Alex and Sarah are finding out slowly that they're adopted.
I was going to ask who's playing what role.
That's what I was going to get into. So halfway through the script, the father tells them about the mother and father's backstory. And when we see the backstory, well, you have to imagine it's the father and mother character, but because like the children are borged into the past. So in all the scenes in the past, the father and mother characters have the face of the son and daughter. So I was thinking that if you two want to be either the son or the daughter at the start, when we borg into the past, you would also be the characters of the father and the mother in the past. Does that make sense, or is that too complicated?
Okay,
I'm still processing the word Borg.
Yeah, I hope you can use that word that way. I
don't know what that means.
Because like
Star Trek?
What I imagine this process to describe the like magic of this universe is like the father touches their foreheads, and then we cut to memories that the father and mother have. But as we see the memories play out on the screen, the father character just has the face of his future adopted son, and vice versa for the daughter.
Interesting. So he's putting him in his body to relive the experience the way he did.
Exactly. That is exactly what we need to remember as we go through this.
Cool. No problem.
And also, the only thing I'll say is I'm glad we started with David's because mine is less coherent and I could see Dave's actually getting produced. I hope this dies today.
Dave's piece reminds me of that movie Devil, where 4 people are trapped in an elevator with the devil.
Except it's much more at the end. You're like, oh, so this is not as scary as I thought.
Yeah.
In case you didn't notice the difference between me and Hernan's fucking script writing, David builds a fucking amazing world with 100 background knowledge and like in this theory and like a million connections, and then he writes based on this world. I'm just like, this is a funny fucking idea, and I write a story based on it.
Here's 8 characters personalized by their haircuts. Yeah.
And the difference is David writes real dialogue and I write garbage. So okay, so we'll start. I can do the narrating.
Okay.
Who would like to be the son? Or who would like to be the daughter?
I would love to be the son. I want to get borged.
Okay.
I would love to be the son.
Well, you're both getting borged. So David, you're Alex, and Lawrence, you can be Sarah.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out, I'll do both the parents at the start. I think that makes sense, or that might be a lot of reading for me. Do you guys could also take a...
Do you want me to narrate again?
Oh, yeah. You narrate. I'll take both the parents, and then you each grab a kid.
Got it.
Cool. Do we all know who we are?
I love the precedent. I love the precedent of forcing our guest star to narrate every fucking script.
Also, do people know what Punnett squares are from science class? Because a lot of my script relies on this.
Yeah.
No.
Punnett squares were like the things where you go you know, your dad has brown
XY
eyes,
chromosomes.
your mom has blue eyes, therefore you have like whatever 25% chance to get blue eyes.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Yeah.
the sixth grade genetics thing.
Okay. I got you.
Anyway, that's the only bit of. Okay, let's begin.
You need background knowledge. You need a science degree to enter.
you need 8th grade biology to get this.
the
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, script title written by name of first writer, based on, if any, ... Interior classroom. We see a classroom full of middle school kids. The teacher at the front of the room is giving a lesson on reproduction and genetics. There are Punnett squares drawn on the board. Alex and Sarah, twin siblings, are passing each other notes. Alex reads a note from Sarah. We can see on it that it says, "You want to hear something funny."
Alex, voiceover. It was the perfect storm. I would have laughed at whatever came next.
Sarah passes Alex another note. Alex opens it while the teacher is talking about reproduction.
So as you can see, different traits of the offspring are picked up through reproductive sex.
Alex, not paying attention to the teacher, starts to open the note and is struggling to contain his laughter.
Oh, is there something funny about sex, Alex?
What?
Class giggling. Okay, Alex and Sarah, note passing, not paying attention. That's a detention.
Oh, come on.
Come on! Exit street. Alex and Sarah are walking home from detention. They are alone as everyone else already got out. A car pulls up beside them. In this car is a full-grown chameleon, dressed as an old woman. The lizard man is wearing a wig and pearl earrings and a wool sweater. Typical grandma kind of stuff.
Hey, kids, your mom sent me to pick you up.
What? No, we don't know you.
We don't know this guy.
What are you Why are you dressed as a grandma, you creep? I know karate. Sarah kicks the side of the lizard man's car.
Kids, just get in. I'm a friend of your parents.
Our parents are weird and don't have friends.
I'm a green belt, you creep! The lizard man accelerates and pulls away.
Was there something weird about that guy dressed as a grandma?
You mean besides the part where he's trying to abduct some kids? Cut to interior kitchen. Alex and Sarah open the door and come running into the kitchen. It's a small house and reminiscent of the American suburban ideal. Lizzie, the kid's mom, is cutting vegetables for dinner.
I forget did I say I would be both parents?
You're both
You
parents.
said, you literally told us. Okay.
David, take your responsibility like a man.
Come on, Harnett.
You kids are late.
Alex got us detention again.
No, Sarah made me laugh when the teacher's talking about bodies and stuff.
Oh, kids. Well, do your homework before dinner. And Sarah, don't forget, you have karate.
Oh, yeah, Mom. You should have seen me today. I totally karate this creep dressed as a grandma.
What?
It was just some creep, but nothing happened, Mom. We just told him to beat it.
I did a kick and he was all like, "Oh no!" and totally got out of there.
Dressed as an old woman?
Yeah, and he had like weird eyes, like a lizard or something.
Okay, kids. Do your homework. Sarah, get ready for karate.
Hiya! Interior kitchen. Dinner is almost ready. Sarah is out at her karate lesson. Alex does his homework at the kitchen table. He's looking at a Punnett square showing you two people with brown eyes cannot have a child with blue eyes. Alex's eyes are blue. Alex takes out his cell phone and is using the camera to look at his eye color.
Hey, Mom.
Yes?
My eyes are blue, right?
Yes, Alex, they are.
And yours are brown?
Yeah, I believe they are.
So Dad's eyes are blue?
I guess so.
Alex continues to look at his eyes and his mom. He walks into the living room and looks at a photo of his family. We see his dad's, George, eyes are brown, and that Sarah's eyes are blue, like his. Cut to interior closet. Lizzie is on her phone. We see a split screen with her and her husband, George.
Hey, baby, I'm almost home. Need anything? I think they're close again. What? The kids, they They saw something. I don't know. It might have just been a pervert. Well, I hope it's a pervert. I'm not ready to leave again. I know. Just get home, okay? Sarah's at karate, and we'll talk as a family after. Keep your gun close, baby.
We see Lizzie holding a silver revolver in the other hand.
Just get home soon.
Time out. Quick pause. Okay. So they're werewolves? The lizard people have werewolf rules. Let's establish.
So I assume the color of the revolver is silver, not the bullets.
Oh yeah, the silver has nothing to do with it. It was just
Okay.
I don't know. It just in my head.
When you're thinking of when you think of like a 70 cop movie with like the brownish handle and like the revolver, like that's I think what he's.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the mom character hears something from her kids about this creep who kind of looked like a reptile, and she knows that they've been on the run from these reptiles for a long time. So it puts her into this is her starting to get in a state of alarm.
Gotcha.
We're gonna see where it goes.
Quick question. I think you asked if we knew Punnett squares. Do you understand Punnett squares? Because it seems like you don't from the dialogue.
I think what I assume. Okay, look, I Wikipedia Punnett squares, and from what I can gather, two brown-eyed people
have to have a brown-eyed kid. But you sold this as look, if you fucking idiots don't understand Punnett squares, you're not gonna comprehend the shit I'm about to lay down. No. You fucking plebes are not going to be able to comprehend the slick genetic writing.
Two brown-eyed people can have a blue-eyed kid, by the way.
I know.
This is the entire theme of the first season of Game of Thrones. It's like, oh, the bastard's son does not have golden hair. Let's have
a this script is in a world where recessive traits don't exist.
Oh, okay, got it.
I would have liked to see. Okay, so if we're taking a pause here, then I would have liked to see at this point something that is more definitive in terms of why they would be lizard kids.
Yeah.
So I think instead of them being adopted or something, which is I don't know if you want to change it around, but I would like them to be their natural kids.
Yeah.
And the lizard people are hunting them because they're not supposed to have kids or they're not supposed to reproduce that way.
Yeah.
Either that or they're eating flies and bugs.
Yeah, that makes a lot.
And they start to see that they have different kind of, they're twins and whatever, but the heating breaks and they're not bothered by how cold it is in the thing. Or you know what I mean? They could swim faster or stronger than other people in class, or you know what I mean? Or Sarah's so much better at karate and she can punch through so many more boards and people don't know why, kind of thing.
You should look up that one would be a specific type of lizard and just make all their traits based on that one type of lizard.
They're roughly chameleons. The tongue does come into play, but it's mostly in the flashback sequence, which is it's coming up.
Okay.
Well, let's continue then.
Let us continue.
Things are about to escalate hard.
Woo!
Yes. And they may, I'll say it off the bat, they may not every escalation may make perfect sense. So
good. That's how I like my scripts.
Curveball on curveball, baby.
Yeah. Interior kitchen. George comes through the door.
Hello, my family, my wife, my son.
Dad, am I adopted?
Geez, son, I haven't even put my briefcase down yet. I mean, what's gotten into you?
I just don't understand basic genetics. My eyes are blue. Sarah's eyes are blue. Neither of you have blue eyes.
Look, son, we're going to have a family talk after dinner, okay? I hear you kids met a pervert.
No, I want to know.
We'll talk after dinner. Alex, set the table, will you?
Time cut, interior kitchen. Alex, Lizzie, and George are finishing setting the table. The dinner is laid out. The doorbell rings.
Oh, and Sarah is still supposed to be at karate.
Yeah.
That wasn't clear.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Lizzie and George share a nervous look. It's me!
Honey, you don't need to ring. Just come on in.
Why doesn't she have a key?
Well, We're about to find out.
She broke it in
Okay.
half with her mad karate skills, obviously.
Alex walks over and opens the door. We see that the lizard man has taken Sarah hostage with a big rusty machete. The lizard man is still dressed as a grandma, but his wig is askew, and one of his fake human eyes has fallen out, showing a chameleon eye that's still looking all around.
I have crossed half this planet looking for you outlaws.
I'm sorry, everybody. I tried to do my karate on her, but she pulled a knife.
That's no grandma, honey.
No one mentioned grandma.
No, the lizard man is dressed as a grandma.
Gotcha. What's happening, Mom and Dad?
Get away, Alex.
Alex scrambles to the side. The lizard man enters the home.
Just come with me quietly, and I won't hurt these kids. I've crossed all of space in half of time looking for you rebels. The last of the resistance. The last cowards hiding out on this mammal planet. We're not doing this again. Let my girl go.
Lizzie pulls out the revolver and fires a shot at Lizard Man, hitting him straight in the face. The grandma lizard falls off of Sarah, and the machete clanks on the floor. The lizard man's wig and the other eye fall off, and we get a good look at the bloodied chameleon face. There is blood pooling on the floor.
Mom, what the fuck?
Watch your mouth, son.
Oh my God, Mom, I want to learn that, not karate. George runs over to the lizard man, takes the machete, and starts disemboweling the creature. The lizard man's stomach spills out on a huge greenish egg sac, spills out onto the floor.
He was almost ready to reproduce. Quick, Lizzie.
Lizzie runs over to the egg sac, and both parents pull off their human faces, revealing chameleon faces underneath. They start madly eating the egg sac. Oh my God, so cool.
Oh my God, I remember something.
Flashback interior hallway. Alex just had a nightmare and is opening his parents' door.
I can't sleep.
Oh my God, close the door, son.
We see George and Lizzie putting back their human suits on frantically.
Ah! Mom and Dad, why are you lizards?
We were just having sex, honey. It's sex. You'll understand when you're older. You're still having a bad dream.
Cut to interior dining room. The parents were panting and have finished off the eggs. George wipes the blood and gristle from his lizard mouth.
You guys were lizards the whole time?
We have some things to tell you.
We're adopted, aren't we?
I'm afraid it's worse. Kids, it's a lot to explain, so let me show you through your eyes.
George gets close to the kids, and his fingers are glowing. He touches a single finger to each of the children's heads, and the children's eyes roll back and go white in their head.
Okay.
Cut to, yes.
So now for this next portion, George is going to be played. I think Alex and George are the same. So George can be played by David, and then Sarah and Lizzie are the same. So
understood.
You guys can be played by Lawrence. If you want me to narrate, I can.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Exterior swamp on another planet. We see a bunch of young juvenile comedians sitting around a swamp catching flies with their tongues. In the flashback, we can see George and Lizzie as young lizards, but since the flashback is happening in Alex and Sarah's mind, George has Alex's face and Lizzie has Sarah's face. Lizzie and Sarah have the attention of all the dude lizards. The other lizards look like stereotypical jocks, Letterman jackets, and tattoos.
Why were you just young lizards back then? We were just young lizards back then. Your mother got all the attention, but I had a huge mouth.
George/Alex slips out of the water and with his huge mouth gobbles up all of the lizards. He lets out a small burb. Lizzie Sarah smiles at George Alex and their eyes fill with love. Cut to interior wedding. We see a bunch of lizards sitting in a church. Lizzie Sarah walks down the aisle.
We weren't from a rich background, but that wedding was the richest I ever felt.
Lizzie Sarah and George Alex kiss as all the other lizards can flap their tongues in and out while the organ plays. Cut to interior university library. We see Lizzie Sarah and George Alex in a book club with intellectual-looking lizards. Many have glasses on with berets. There's one lizard gesticulating wildly while he speaks. The ruling order is the regime that must be overthrown. They control our everyday lives and keep us lizards from being free lizards. I got caught up in the revolution. We all were students were saying that just made sense. The only action is the assassination of the democratically elected leaders of this country.
George.
I tried to talk your mother out of it, but she has a mind for revolution and supple hands for building car bombs.
Cut to interior garage. Lizzie and Sarah are leaning into the trunk of a car filled with fertilizer. She connects a wire to a kitchen timer and then turns around to the camera and gives a thumbs up while flicking her lizard tongue. Cut to the television screen. We see a lizard news anchor, eyes flittering around.
Carnage today on the streets of Mithloplisa as a car bomb, no doubt set by the radical student terrorists, detonated outside of Parliament. It seems to have decimated the courthouse as well as a local Starbucks and a daycare.
Exterior street. Soldiers line up student revolutionaries and execute them by firing squad. We had to flee the solar system. We've been wanted ever since. Exterior Earth. We see a young Earth inhabited by mammoths and roving bands of hunter-gatherers.
We found refuge here on Earth, and we were so lonely for our species and family and friends that we vowed we never wanted a creature to feel lonely like us.
So we adopted children and blended in with their communities throughout the years. It helped us evade captures and gave us a sense of purpose. We see a tribe of hunter-gatherers around a cave. George Alex pat on the back of a Rognari, a young hunter-gatherer who has just come of age.
You don't need me anymore, Harry. It's your first hunt alone.
You're a big man now, Rognari. We're proud of you.
Just like this boy.
George Alex flicks his tongue and catches a fly buzzing around. Rognari smiles and goes off with a spear. But we had a lot to learn about being parents. We see Rognari trying to flick his tongue like a lizard to catch a mastodon. The mastodon, annoyed, crushes Rognari. Cut to interior symphony. Bach plays for a packed audience. Bach plays all over the piano keys. George Alex and Lizzie Sarah share a loving look during the sympathy.
There were some good years, like when we adopted and raised Bach. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. Oh my god, David. David, holy shit, man. Your script, man. Just fucking. Oh god. What? Holy shit.
That's the hardest I've laughed in like a year.
Holy shit. This is the second script in a row where you had a violent governmental body overthrowing. You had violent revolutions 2 times in a row.
I'm working through some stuff.
I see that.
This is why you fled to Madrid. Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Let me raise my baby boy Bach real quick.
We see Bach using his tongue to hit some really low notes along with his hands. But there was always the threat of bounty hunters. Montage. We see a hunter-gatherer funeral. They are throwing ochre over Ragnar. What, is that a thing?
I looked it up. It's the earliest the earliest burial tradition is Neanderthals putting ochre on their dead.
Yeah, but
It's
what's
like
ochre?
I think it's like it's a red rock, basically, like a red dust. I think like high mineral content. Yeah.
Okay. We see a hunter-gatherer funeral. They are throwing ochre over Ragnori's body when a lizard man shows up. The tribe beats the lizard man to death. We see pandemonium in the theater as a lizard man is chasing George Alex and lizard Sarah through the seats. George Alex throws the lizard man off a balcony and the theater goers scream around his crumpled body. A priest holds up his cross and screams a garbled prayer. Cut to interior dining room. George takes his fingers off of his children's forehead. Their eyes return to white, normal eyeballs.
Well,
Yeah.
that pretty much catches us up to now.
Ew! I kissed my sister, Mom, as my dad.
I set off a car bomb that killed innocent people.
And the worst part is, this is how you told us we're adopted.
And see.
And see.
And scene.
Oh. Oh.
Welcome to Right.
So what I wanted from this, if I can justify some of it.
I need a minute.
Let him process our. I wish he was here for the Freaky Friday one. Oh my god.
Yeah, we might have to
There's
redo
Freaky
that
Friday
one.
vibes in this too.
I know. I keep doing body switching scenes.
Oh my god.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Oh, I need to compose myself. Oh, okay. I'm literally dehydrated from laughing. Okay, so a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So, so the lizard man kind of tried to get these kids into the car, right?
Yeah.
But if he's an international bounty hunter and he's attacked, and the people have attacked this family throughout the years, what's stopping him from A, why is he alone? B, why doesn't he just grab the kids and then use them to bait the parents?
Yeah.
Because
So
and like it's really weak to be like, if you're doing the Men in Black thing where he has like a poorly done disguise, is he like an incompetent villain? Are we kind of ringing the bell that he doesn't know how to be a bounty hunter kind of thing?
yeah, this
David,
definitely
let me
needed.
answer that for you. I got you. You see, one of the children, her name is Lizzie, knows karate.
Sarah knows
And
karate.
that's a significant threat to any lizard man flesh.
For sure.
Yeah, so the thing about the background that I had this idea, but I didn't paint the picture enough in what I wrote, is that like somewhere there is some, large lizard civilization. And originally I was thinking that like through this revolutionary movement that these two were a part of, like it collapsed, it rebuilt as like a, normal society. And these two had fled for years. And they're like, at this point, thousands of years later, they're just small potatoes to the new government. So there's a bounty on their head, but it's like low, they're out of the way, they're in hiding. And originally I had this idea that the lizard person looking for them is the same bounty hunter throughout space and time. He was going to be called Salvador, and he's like very incompetent. And I was trying to give him a better backstory of how he would be connected to them in the past that would make him like, overcome the fact that there's very little money in this and continue going where no other bounty hunter has gone. But I agree with you completely. It's definitely weak. And why doesn't he just grab the kids?
So here's my story to kind of fill that out, or here's where I'm thinking, and if you want to adjust, go for it. I'm thinking Salvador is either related to George or Lizzie. And they have some sort of personal connection. So when George and Lizzie gets radicalized, he tries to hunt them down as a bounty hunter because he works for the government and they're anti-government. So you have that internal kind of struggle.
Yeah.
And then through the montage, or every time that he gets killed, every time he comes back, but there's a piece of him missing, or a piece of him is not as effective. So because he's died listening to Bach and all these kind of crazy ways, every time he comes back he's just a little bit less capable and a little bit less. So for him, he's gotten to a point after all these years where now the only thing in his mind is getting revenge. So he's not at a point where he's using all of his kind of faculties.
He started as John Wick, he ended as Mr. Magoo.
Kind of, yeah. That's the kind of vibe I'm going for there.
Yeah.
So, because for me, it doesn't make sense if you're like an intergalactic bounty hunter and you're working this case to just kind of we've already established it's like their home planet's very like ruthful and totalitarian in a way. So that I don't see this guy just like giving a shit about his cover. He would just snatch these kids, right? And like a kid doing karate, I don't think would be a big foil for him. But if you paint him as kind of incompetent, or he tries to grab someone when he gets kicked in the mouth and then he panics, or they get away and he can't pursue or something, that makes sense. After that, if you are alien refugees and you have taken care of human babies throughout thousands of years,
Mhm.
and you hear something like this, like a lizard man was approached, I don't think you let your daughter just walk to karate by herself.
Yeah, that's a huge plot hole, which I noticed and did not fix because I didn't
Yeah.
know how to get the lizard man at the door.
No problem. I think that what you
Busting in.
have to do there is you
Mhm.
have a confrontation between Lizzie and Sarah, where
Mhm.
Lizzie forbids her to go to karate, and then Lizzie goes, "Mom, you're overreacting. It's something that happens to girls all the time. I need to go to karate to defend myself. You're not being na 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 na." And then when George calls Lizzie, she turns her back. Sarah leaves without Lizzie's kind of permission, and
Yeah.
then you know what I mean. And then
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
kind of while the other conversation, that's something that's happening off screen.
I like that. I also think if you're gonna like edit things, make this a pilot, and you want to continue the series, what you should do is like establish. Oh yeah, we've been raising people forever, and then every follow up episode is just them at some point in the past raising one of their multiple kids, like just in that genre. And
Oh
then the
yeah.
lizard people, like
Oh, that's
it's like
interesting.
it's like oh yeah, you know those ancient pharaohs, yeah, like they did worship us. It was weird. We weren't really big fans of it. Like there's only so much gold that it really affects their scales. It really itches after a little bit.
Yeah. So I like that a lot. What else did I want to bring up? So the kid thing we mentioned, and then do your homework before dinner, Sarah.
Oh, Lizard. When he got shot after walking in the kitchen, it
Yes,
switches from Lizard Man to Grandma Lizard to Lizard Man. It like switches like names
True.
back and forth four times.
Yeah, the fact, but I
Yeah.
think the fact that he's dressed up like a grandma is like inherently a comedy trope.
Yeah,
So you have to establish him as being either incompetent or a
Yeah.
goof or bad at something, because if not, we just have like a really serious John Wick type dressing up as a grandma, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I
But
think it's definitely the bumbling.
Oh,
yeah.
also, when we first see him in the car, is he obviously a lizard dressed up like a grandma, or is he like lizard-like qualities? That's what
I think
Yeah.
lizard-like qualities is
For sure.
originally when I was trying to pitch this, I had some idea where like he would have these like fake eyes that would fall out, and then you see like a chameleon eye underneath. But I need to make that
scar a
clear.
fucking kid. Imagine you're a
Right.
kid just walking home from school. All of a sudden, an eye just pops out. Some guy's trying to kidnap you. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, I would like to see them like her kicking the car. She kicks the car and then he gets out and tries to like find them and stuff. But then they hide, or they
Yeah.
kind of either retreat to a place where they can't be grabbed, and then you have the trope of like trying to reach through something,
Yeah, yeah.
or like him like them like hiding behind a bush and him looking over the bush being like, where are they, is that kind
Right.
of shit. Um, Also, the line from George, "Hello, my family, my wife, my son," is like that's very unnatural. Which is, I don't know if you're doing it in a way like he's an alien and he's unnatural, or like he's a '50s TV character unnatural.
So the
Um,
50s TV thing feel like I had some of that in my head of like this perfect, like a Leave It to Beaver type situation in this house. Everything's going to be like copacetic and familial and
Right.
whatever. So I was hamming it up there, definitely. I don't think I guess I don't think I've made up my mind on how bad they are at being human. I was writing it like they're moderately bad, but I need to make that clear. Like,
Are you married to the idea that the kids are adopted and human and not their
no,
natural kids? Okay. Because
no.
for me, there's a more
Yeah.
interesting arc if the kids don't know they're aliens or don't know they're reptiles.
So the
And
reason, sorry, if I can, the reason that I was thinking that they wouldn't be reptiles is I was imagining this as a pilot, and the show would be about the children protecting their parents from both the human world that they adapt poorly in, and also international lizard bounty hunters. But it's
Mhm,
like that's why it was called like My Parents the Reptile Lizards or whatever.
mhm.
It was supposed to be have the kids as the main characters, and I was thinking it's like a kid show, but then it got highly violent.
Dragon
Well,
tails,
well,
except with
well, well,
homicidal lizards as
well,
parents.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Also, when you do the flashback scene, you make a conscious decision to put them in the bodies of their
Hmm.
parents instead of the trope where like you have them witness actions but they
Hmm.
can't interact. So inherently, you're making like a weird incest angle where they kiss and marry each other and have babies
Oh,
together,
he,
which
he
is very
te-
I
strange.
didn't think
as
about
it
the
is.
have babies together part. I wanted it to be like a light-hearted thing, like "Ew, I kissed mom as dad,
Yeah.
gross." But
no, but
yeah,
I think you can still have that moment where they're teenagers, so that it's gross and you don't want to see it. But
right.
they have to watch, and then like you can have like the George like hovering there with them, and they're like gross. He's like, you can't look away. This is important, and like they have to. You know what I mean? Like you can still hit that note without having them like live through it. Right?
So they're not in the bodies.
Out,
I gotcha.
Yes. Yeah.
I once again would like to establish. I've texted you this, David. No more. We can't write any more sex scenes. We do a bad job.
It wasn't a sex scene. It was
every
a kiss.
Every time we even get close to it, we do a terrible job of it.
But it is true that for two white dudes trying to write stuff, and we shouldn't write any sex scenes, and we should really think about the characters we're trying to write.
Yeah. So the guy comes to the door, looking for you outlaws. So karate, that's no grandma. Lizzie is Lizzie afraid in this moment, or is she confident because she's like essentially a badass terrorist?
I wanted Lizzie to be the more badass one. I wanted George throughout the years to be like, oh, you got to rein it in. And then, because she's making the car bombs in the old one. I had this whole other plot where during World War I, they were living in like Eastern Europe. And I wanted her to like, have a relationship with Gavrilo Princip, the guy who shoots Franz Ferdinand. It like starts World War I.
I'm sorry, just the casual WW1 reference. Like I had this whole idea the front lines.
Well, I had to cut it out, but there's gonna be some whole thing while like they were going through this period in their marriage, right? Because I mean they've been together thousands of years, so they have this separation, and she is like dating Gavrilo Princip, and George and Gavrilo have some rivalry.
George gives me the most Al Bundy energy I've ever gotten from anyone other than Al Bundy.
Right. So I think there's two things there. I think one, during the montage, you can have a line of like the father narrating, like, "Oh, it wasn't within our rough patches," and then you see them on like opposite sides of a battlefield. Oh, and then also I think if you want to establish her as the badass and him as like more of the more cautious or more tactical one, you can establish that during the phone call. Where she where she's like, hey, they're getting close, like this is happening, and he's like, okay, so here's the plan. We got to do this. We're gonna do that. I'm thinking about this. I have a suitcase stashed under the bed, and we're gonna do that. And then she just like pulls out a gun, and she's like, no, we're gonna handle this.
Okay.
And he's like, you know what I mean? So then it's like, he's rushing to get back home because like something, you know what I mean? And she's like, I'm gonna blow this fucker away, and he's like, you're gonna blow our cover. You're gonna So he's being tactical and rational, and she's being like, I'm gonna take care of this.
I think the part that maybe I should well, there's a lot I should rework, but one thing that I'm not sure makes sense to me is when we see them on their home planet. Like I've kind of acted like they're freedom fighters, but then like she's setting off car bombs. The news anchor is like is hit a daycare.
You have to establish that they're the good guys, or you have to establish that whether they're fighting out or so repressive or so evil that they're doing the right thing. So because right now it's kind of gray.
Yeah. Right now, no. Right now, they're the bad guys. She listened to a random preacher in her college campus and went full on car bomb, with no real motivation.
So you have to explain then, like George and Lizzie are like young lovers, and then they come home one day and their families are slaughtered by the oppressive government or something, and they're out for vengeance.
I think they need a more positive backstory.
Yeah, they need to. They need to have a compelling reason to not only attack their home planet but then flee afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Lawrence,
yeah,
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Before we kick you off, I would love to know, out of our two scripts, because this is a new bit we're going to do, David.
Don't pit us against
each other. Which script would you produce?
Which what's the question? Sorry.
Which script would you be interested in producing if you had the option?
Look, David, you're an excellent writer. I felt your script had a lot of character opportunities. You had a lot of story opportunities. You had kind of the mix of two established things that had already happened. Hernan's script had the line, there were some good years like when we adopted and raised Bach. So, that line in itself, I would pay tens of millions of dollars to have that line. The rest of it is incomprehensible nonsense, which should never see the light of day, with characters that have no motivation and utterly senseless. But there were always good years, like when we raced Bob. So, look, Basically, what happened is there was a flash of genius, and that flash was so bright and so extraordinary that I've been drawn to it like a moth. And that kind of overshadowed all of your look. The structure you had was excellent, Lonstein. You put a lot of thought into it. But Bach, I'm so
I know. I agree.
sorry.
I 100%. I 100% agree.
I want. So now we're thinking Bach, and then we're gonna have a fucking spin-off episode where Bach just throws down his fucking shit, and then he's just gonna stop playing music, and then like cock a shotgun and go after other people in full frilly dresses. What was Bach? What was he? German or Austrian? What the fuck was
I
he?
don't
think Austrian, but I can't
Austrian is
remember.
gonna be. So he's gonna turn around and have like the action lines be like, "Oh, time for Schadenfreude." Clack clack, and this will start picking off.
Amazing. Oh my god, so fucking good. Oh, Lawrence,
so yeah.
thank you so much for joining
This
us.
was fun. I enjoyed this so much.
Thank you so much. Our inaugural guest episode, and depending on if we decide to put any of our past episodes up, our first episode.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you for that one.
This is the hardest I've ever laughed on mic or camera in my entire
Oh
life.
my god!
Even if this doesn't get posted, I need a copy of this.
It will absolutely get posted.
100%.
This is way better than David and I just going back and forth.
Lawrence, do you want to publicize yourself in any way, shape, or form, or do you not want to be associated with
any
this?
plugs? Anything?
I'm gonna start doing virtual shows, unfortunately. So look out for those.
Yes.
On the socials, look out for me, Lully514, LULLY 514 on the Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, my name Lawrence Corber. Other than that, I'm all good.
Awesome.
Thanks
Great.
so
And
much.
Lawrence, reread what the prompt is for the following writing session. So if you have something you want us to write about, we'll fucking write about it.
Yeah, you have a prompt off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Shit. Do I go to just Reddit writing prompts and there's?
You can do that if you want.
You can do it.
We've literally
it could be
written about
anything.
everything.
Some of the prompts have been like.
Where is it? Here it is.
642.
All right.
Things to write about. Okay.
642 things to write about. So, Lonstein, are you guys going to write about the same thing?
Same prompt.
Yes. Yeah. Same prompt.
Do a detailed character sketch for a fictional character about whom you would never, ever want to write. Work to avoid making up anything that would capture your own interest.
So write about somebody we really fucking hate. A fictional person.
Do a detailed character sketch for a fictional character about whom you would never, ever want to write. Work to avoid making up anything that would capture your own interest.
Okay. So that's a fucking mouthful. So we're going to push that down to...
I love that. Yeah.
We're going to push that down to write about someone you would fucking hate and not want to write for.
Cool. Good.
Okay. That's way better than our previous process.
I don't knock random sentence generator. I'll have you know.
This is so fun, boys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on, man.
You guys, that was 2 Week to Write. Lawrence Corber at Lowly514. Follow him there. We're coming back next week with some more fun stuff for you. Thanks.